To all, I offer a sincere welcome, and I ask you to grant me the permission to unfold all of our hopes, our joys, our understandings of the divine in this one simple expression of prayer. That we give thanks for these young people as they have been our treasure, our boon, our inspiration, and our labor. And we hope that their tomorrows are so much better than our yesterdays and the bright future that is theirs. Amen.
Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Baccalaureate for the class of 2026. Yes. To our seniors, parents, families, professional community, trustees, alumni, and friends, thank you for being here for this special moment in the life of our school. This week is full of traditions. Some are loud and visible. Some carry generations of memory. Some feel timeless because they connect us to people who stood where you stand now. Baccalaureate is one of those traditions. Its origins trace back nearly 600 years to the earliest universities in Europe. At places like Oxford, before students received their degrees, they gathered not first to celebrate, but to reflect. Candidates for the bachelor's degree were asked to pause and offer a sermon or reflection on what they had learned and what responsibilities came with education. Before commencement, there was contemplation. Before achievement was recognized publicly, there was an invitation to think more deeply about who one had become and what would come next. Over time, the tradition evolved. What began as a religious exercise became something broader. Today, schools and universities across many traditions continue to hold baccalaureate ceremonies because they preserve something important, a moment to pause before the pace and excitement of graduation. I have always appreciated that. Commencement rightly gets much of the attention this week. It is celebratory. It is joyful. It marks achievement. Baccalaureate asks something different of us. It invites gratitude. It invites reflection. It asks us to consider not simply what we accomplished, but who we have become. And in many ways, that feels especially fitting here at Petty. Our motto reminds us that we finish our labors to begin them anew. Tonight is one of those moments. This evening gives us space to pause before tomorrow's celebration, to be grateful, to recognize the people who helped carry us here, to consider what comes next. Because commencement, by its very name, is not an ending. It is a beginning. And before we continue, it is my privilege to welcome two people who have helped lead this class through its final year at Petty. One of the great gifts of this job is that each year you are invited into the journey of a class. You watch traditions unfold through new eyes. You learn personalities and stories. You celebrate milestones and navigate challenges together. This year, Julissa and Luke introduced the idea of senior year as a road trip. And I have to say, it has been a pleasure to be a passenger along the way. Like every good road trip, there have been moments of acceleration and moments to slow down. There have been detours, unexpected moments, and memories that will last much longer than the trip itself. Through it all, they helped keep this class moving forward together and reminded us to appreciate the ride while we were in it. Tonight feels fitting for one more stop before tomorrow's destination. Please join me in welcoming your co-presidents, Julissa Lugo and Luke Chan.
Good evening. Well, everyone, this is almost it. We have finally arrived at Baccalaureate. And in less than 16 hours, we will officially graduate from the Petty School of Excellence.
For years, graduation felt so far away that it almost didn't feel real. Now suddenly, we're sitting here, trying to process the fact that this chapter of our lives is actually ending.
But none of us got here alone. And so to all the parents and peers who played such pivotal roles in somehow managing to drag this unruly group of 140-odd teenagers over the finish line, tonight is just as much your accomplishment as it is ours.
And while tonight is certainly a celebration, I also think it's okay to admit that our time at Petty wasn't always easy. There were stressful weeks, difficult conversations, moments when we doubted ourselves, moments when we felt overwhelmed, exhausted, or uncertain about where we fit in. But that's part of what made this experience meaningful. After all, they're called growing pains for a reason.
And despite all of that, somewhere along the way, Petty became home. Not because everything was always perfect, but because of the people and experiences that helped us grow. So as we stand here tonight on the brink of graduation, I encourage you to remember the teachers who supported you in the classroom, the teammates who had your back after difficult games, and all the people throughout this community who helped you realize that there's more to life than report cards, popularity, and athletic performances.
When people talk about high school, they usually focus on achievements, the grades, the awards, the college decisions. But those aren't the things that ultimately matter in the long run. 10 years from now, you won't remember that one question you missed on that Mod Glob test sophomore year, and you won't remember the one college that you didn't get into. What will matter are the relationships that were built here, the experiences that helped you grow.
After all, life isn't just about building resumes or amassing LinkedIn connections. It's about establishing genuine relationships with the people and communities around us, the kinds where years can pass and you can still somehow manage to pick up right where you left off, huddled around a much too small table, cracking the same stupid chud jokes that always made you laugh. Those relationships are just as rare as they are valuable.
So as we prepare to go our separate ways tomorrow, I hope we actually stay connected. Not out of obligation, not because social media encourages us to, but because the people sitting beneath this tent actually matter to us. And because for a few years of our lives, we all shared something extremely special. I hope that we will all look back on these days and remember that, for a brief moment, all of our paths intersected at this unforgettable place.
So before we go, we also would like to say this. It has truly been our honor to serve as your co-presidents. Receiving the incredible opportunity to represent this class, celebrate this community, and share these moments with you all has meant more to us than we can properly put into words. This class is thoughtful, resilient, ambitious, occasionally problematic, and deeply caring. We feel incredibly fortunate to have been able to share these years with every single one of you.
Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Earlier this year, as Mr. Hamilton previously stated at Convocation, we described senior year as a road trip, with graduation as the final destination. But now that we're finally here, I think Luke and I realized something important. The destination of graduation was never really the point. The point was the people we travel alongside, the conversations, the memories, the friendships, and the moments that may have felt mundane at the time, but somehow became unforgettable. That's what made this journey so meaningful to us, and we hope the same is true for you. So, without further ado, it is our pleasure to introduce this year's senior speaker. We have heard from him before, and the senior speaker committee decided they wanted more. A student who challenges us to check in to each other, a student who has asked us to take risks, and a student who will undoubtedly win his next election. Please join us in welcoming this year's senior speaker, Neil Cathoria.
Good job. Good job.
Before I start, I just want to thank Luke and Julissa for all they've done for our class in the past year. They've been wonderful co-presidents, and I think they deserve a round of applause. Good evening. My name is Neil Raj Kathoria, and I'm honored to address the Petty graduating class of 2026 on this 23rd of May. Most of us in this class here were born in 2007 and 2008. That means that we entered the world right on time for a global financial crisis. We had our formative years during a pandemic. God knows that we can't survive another one. And we showed up to high school in a country that couldn't and still can't agree on much of anything at all. But I'm not going to stand here and tell you that we had it harder than anyone else, because every class thinks that. What I do want to talk about, however, is what this class did with the 4 years that we had, because every generation is faced with the same question. Do we get a say in how this story goes? And by the story, I mean the big one, the shape of our communities, whether people can still sit in the same room and actually become something together, whether the things that connect us are stronger than the things that pull us apart. We are all capable. We are all extraordinary. That is why we are here. And I think that we answered the question. I don't think most of us noticed it while it was happening. How'd we do it? I want to take you back to freshman year, September 2022. Now, I showed up having spent 2 years behind a screen, just as all of you did, and suddenly I was supposed to pretend that I knew how to function in a room full of people. During orientation, I met this guy. His name was Luke Chan. He was the very first person that I talked to. He smiled, he welcomed me in, and he made me feel like I belonged here before I had any reason to believe that I did. Now, I didn't know it then, but the first person that I'd meet at Petty would become one of our class presidents. Looking back, that tells us something about who we are. The first face of this class was someone who made a newcomer feel at home. And then I met Jerry Lou. Within about 5 minutes of speaking to Jerry, I realized that I was definitely not the smartest person in the room. Now, I don't think I ever was, but Jerry made that abundantly clear. Seriously, I am grateful to have grown up around people like that. People who will no doubt go on to do extraordinary things. I, for one, look forward to the cure for cancer, sponsored by our very own Jerry Lou. That was the first thing this class taught me. You are surrounded by people who are going to push you, challenge you, and make you better, whether you like it or not. Get used to it. Not that it was all perfect, so before I go on, I'd like to take this time to air out some grievances. We endured 4 years of Saturday classes every Saturday. We had spring term exams. We had a dress code. And the moment that we leave, suddenly it's sweatpants and every other Saturday. Need I remind you that in freshman year, class started at 8 a.m. every day? All right, end of grievances. That was all of them. But somewhere between the suffering and complaining, I think that we underwent a transformation together. Now, we were all reading the same books, we were sitting in the same classrooms, and we were arguing about the same ideas and failing the same CYUs. And slowly, without realizing it, we stopped being a collection of people who happened to go to the same school, and we started being a class. Now, speaking of shared experiences, I know that we are all sick and tired of the all-school emails about stolen bikes and missing belongings these last 4 years. So I think it's time I come clean. I have them. I have all of them. They're in the senior lounge where the freshmen put their backpacks now. But seriously, Not all of our shared experiences were easy, but through every transition, this class held together. This year, we had the privilege of sharing Mr. Hamilton's inaugural year as our new head of school, and it's clear that he loves Petty just as much as we do. And while I'm at it, Miss Rodrigue, you are a tremendous educator who has dedicated your life to service, making sure every single one of us understood that rules are not suggestions. No one has had a greater impact on the heart and soul of this school, and no one has garnered as much respect during your tenure as you have. I know I speak for all of us when we say that we are immensely grateful to you. As Mr. Cabot, who himself has had an immeasurable impact on Petty in his 40 years, as he said at Retirement Chapel on the 1st of this month, and I'm paraphrasing here, nobody goes to more performances, art exhibitions, guest lectures, or plays than Miss Rodrigue. She's everywhere. And by virtue of her relative omnipotence, Miss Rodrigue is always there when you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. Now, to that end, Ms. Rodrigue, it has been a pleasure to be utterly terrified of you for these 4 years. Happy retirement. Now I want to talk about senior year. First, the thesis. Weeks of research, late nights, drafts, and the creeping fear that you have nothing original to say. I think it was the hardest thing, one of the hardest things that most of us have done at Petty. But here's what I'll remember. It wasn't only my thesis, it was watching all of you do yours. Watching this class wrestle with ideas that mattered to them and come out the other side having produced original scholarship in our own distinct voices. Now, the thesis is more than writing a paper. It asks you to prove that your time here meant something. Every person in this class did that. You should be proud of yourselves. And then, I want to talk about Blair Day. The class of 2026 is undefeated. Three wins and a tie. In 4 years, this class has never seen a loss on Blair Day. We won the Potter Kelly Cup 3 times. And to be clear, it is the Potter Kelly Cup, not the Kelly Potter Cup. Not now and not ever. Don't fall for the Blair Academy propaganda. And much like Blair students, we didn't choose the world that we were born into. We didn't choose the pandemic, the polarization, or any of the things that have plagued our society since we started at Petty. But we chose what to do with the 4 years that we had here. We chose each other in the dining hall, on the fields, and in the late nights before that thesis was due. And perhaps most of all, we chose each other when our friends needed us most. I have admitted before, and I will again, that I went through some rough patches in my time here. But my feelings of alienation and exclusion always washed away when I saw a friendly face. And sure as day, there is no shortage of those faces here with us today. That's who this class is, and it's who we've become together. And that is our answer to the question, do we get a say in how the story goes? Look around this room. We've been writing it this whole time. Or to use a different metaphor, since September, as you just heard, Luke and Julissa have maintained this continuous theme for our senior year. And that theme was, put simply, that we were nearing the end of a long 4-year road trip of high school and that we ought to make the most of it. Well, I actually ran out of gas on the way to school this morning, and I showed up to Moving Up Chapel late. So that pretty much sums up where we all are, I think. We've run out of gas, but we've made it here anyway. I showed up. I got there eventually. Now, in a short time, we'll walk out of here and into the next chapter, or road trip, if you will. New cities, new classrooms, and new people. And I'm sure that by the time we come back for our very first reunion, this campus will be unrecognizable. New buildings, new facilities, massive renovations. And of course, as alumni, we will be expected to support future generations through generous financial contributions. But, for the record, as a history major, I'm exempt from that. I will have no donation money to speak of. So I'm going to need you guys to chip in. Now, we will carry diplomas, we will carry memories, but more than any of that, we will carry the proof that people can still walk into a room as strangers and walk out as something worth fighting for. Now, Petty's motto is engraved on its seal. We finish our labors to begin them anew. Now, I used to think that that meant classwork and changing my network password. But today, 1 week after I was locked out of my account for not changing my password, I realized that the Petty motto is a promise. Now, it's the promise that I talked about when I spoke in the chapel roughly 2 months ago. The Petty School's promise is that the labor of building something together, of choosing people over convenience, is never finished. It begins again, somewhere new, and it begins with you. Now, I asked you in March to make your life harder, to be obsessed with inconvenience, to answer the call, take initiative, knock on the door, call that struggling friend. That doesn't expire when we leave this place. If anything, it matters more. The world won't make this easy, but our class has never needed easy. To the class of 2026, it has been the honor of my life to stand among you. The world asked us if we get a say in how this story goes. Class of 2026, it's time to go turn the page and write the next chapter. Now let's get out there and show them how it's done. Alla viva.
I am so pleased to be able to introduce our baccalaureate speaker this evening, Associate Head of School, Catherine Rodrigue. I have been lucky to have Catherine in my life for 20 years. I showed up to Petty 5 years after Catherine arrived here by way of Tassis, the American school in Switzerland, Marist in Atlanta, and then St. Paul's School in New Hampshire. In these 20 years, Catherine has had many roles in my life: colleague, mentor, direct supervisor, and friend. I am very lucky. A few weeks ago, as Neil has already mentioned, the teachers who were retiring this year were honored at chapel with brief speeches about their impact on our students and school. During this gathering, Ray Cabot declared unequivocally that there is no other individual in our school's history that has had more of an impact on Petty and its academic program than Catherine Rodrigue. And as a terrific history teacher he is, Ray went on to provide myriad evidence to successfully support his claim. A+. Former faculty member Pat Clements then had us think about the fact that everyone in our school right now has been taught by Catherine in some capacity, even if we'd never been enrolled in one of her classes. And it is this idea that has stuck with me and that I will speak about briefly. What have I learned from Catherine Rodrigue? To be fair, Ms. Rodrigue would be the last person to give us a trite list of life lessons. So instead, let's think of these as guidelines for life that we have picked up or intuited just by working with and watching Ms. Rodrigue around campus the last 25 years. So here we go. Number 1, do great things, but have some humility. Work hard, but not all the time. Take time for yourself. Being honest is often the kindest thing you can do for someone. Number 4, there is power in the word no. She had this written on the whiteboard in her office for several years, definitely not on accident. Number 5, don't be afraid to try new things. Okay, so now this is all starting to sound like one of those inspirational posters with a little kitten saying, hang in there on it, but bear with me. We have a few more to go. So what else have I learned or have we learned from Ms. Rodrigue? Number 6, if you're going to Manhattan, drive to Secaucus Junction and take the train from there, not Princeton Junction. Number 7, avoid doom scrolling the internet in the middle of the night. It is not good for your health. To be honest, this is more of a do as I say, not do as I do lesson that she has given us. Number 8, keep your family close, even if they are far away. A very pertinent lesson for us at a boarding school. If you've ever seen Ms. Rodrigue out walking the loop on a beautiful afternoon, more often than not, she's on the phone with one of her 5 siblings. Though they are stretched across multiple states, currently Ohio, Virginia, Georgia, and New Jersey, these brothers and sisters are a support system for one another, and they delight in each other's victories, big and small. In fact, Ms. Summers and I have been known to receive texts and videos from Ms. Rodrigue sharing the latest feats of her niece's competitive dock diving dog, endearingly named Chicken. And we love getting those text messages. I hope that next year Ms. Rodrigue keeps her Petty family close, even though we will be far away. Number 9, be a lifelong learner. As she was contemplating her post-Petty plans in recent years, it is no surprise that Ms. Rodrigue was considering both Charlottesville, Virginia, and Athens, Georgia for her new home. In addition to being closer to family members, these are also the homes of her alma maters. University of Georgia for her undergraduate degree in history, and her English master's degree from University of Virginia. And she didn't pick these towns merely for their familiarity, but also because there will be so many opportunities to learn more about the world, taking a class, attending a talk, going to a museum, meeting others who have also devoted their lives to learning and teaching. Next year, Ms. Rodrigue will not be formally associated with a school for the first time since she was about 5 years old. But she will continue to learn and grow. It is in her nature. All this said, I actually feel confident Catherine finally settled on Athens so that she will be within easy walking distance of Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium so she can watch her beloved Georgia Bulldogs take on the SEC live and in person. Number 10, good things in moderation. Ms. Rodrigue loves a Coca-Cola, the original classic Coke, maybe because it's an Atlanta thing. But no matter the circumstances, the stress of the day, her tiredness, she will only drink one a day. I've tried offering others. And she only drinks one of those little mini cans. Does a mini can really even count as a soda? However, I did realize this year that her self-control is a bit less controlled at times, especially if there are nerd gummy clusters around. Just saying. Number 11, have some routine in your life. Some generic searching on the internet tells us that routine minimizes daily stress and improves overall mental and physical well-being. So naturally, Ms. Rodrigue starts each school day in the library hanging out with Mr. DeBrule. There, she perches on her stool, drinking a tea, debating Georgia versus Alabama football or whatever sports are dominating the news cycle. I know one library director who will also be missing this daily routine come fall. Number 12, stay informed and let your elected representatives know what you're thinking. Ms. Rodrigue likely reads and watches more news and current events than anyone on this campus, much of it before the sun has even risen. See above section on doom scrolling the internet. And as important as it is for all of us to keep informed and up to date about what is going on in the country and the world, Ms. Rodrigue goes one step further, often writing members of Congress and other representatives to implore them to vote a certain way on a measure or to hold other government officials accountable. There will be no lack of news to read and letters to write in Georgia next year. Number 13, a sense of humor is key to our work and our mental health. Ms. Rodrigue has a killer sense of humor. She can wryly deliver a zinger of a line that has you doubled over in laughter before you even realize the conversation has turned. But her humor is not at others' expense. She embodies the idea of laughing with someone, not about someone. With every potential teaching candidate she interviews, Catherine is trying to suss out if they can laugh and laugh at themselves. And if you work with teenagers every day, you know this is a very necessary skill. We are almost done with my list, I swear. We got 2 more. Number 14, build up your people. As the person on this campus that has observed thousands of classes over the last 25 years and as a master teacher herself, Catherine knows what makes a good class. But her magic is that she does not tell the faculty what to teach or how to teach it. In her observation, debriefs, and write-ups, she notes the ways in which we connect with our students, keep them on track, challenge them to go further, and hold them accountable. She allows us to see kernels of success where we might otherwise be hard on ourselves. If you ever ask Catherine how her own sophomore English class is going, she will eagerly tell you about a student who can put together a wonderful turn of phrase, or the student who has become a much more confident and prolific writer. And if you've ever had Ms. Rodrigue in class, you know she makes you write a lot. She sees both accomplishment and potential in all of us, adults and children, and students. And lastly, what I have learned by watching Catherine these last couple of decades, show up for your people. There is no doubt that Ms. Rodrigue has been this school's most ardent superfan over the last 2 decades, as Mr. Cabot spoke of at our retirement chapel. While she studiously, actively, and sometimes hilariously tries to not be pictured in any of Ms. Hoffman's show up for petty Instagram posts, Ms. Rodrigue has supported our students and professional community by showing up to hundreds upon hundreds of our competitions, performances, matches, presentations. Her presence tells us she cares about us all and how we are each contributing to our community. And we feel this, and we are all the better for it. I know right now Mr. Hamilton is probably regretting asking me to give this so-called brief introduction. I'm channeling my inner Marty Mooney from Founders Day right now. And Catherine is hating the fact that I spent so much time talking about her, and especially talking about her in front of all of you. But in response to this imagined criticism, I will share one last life lesson I've learned from Ms. Rodrigue that definitely comes from her directly. Champions adjust. May I present this year's baccalaureate speaker, Catherine Rodrigue. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you, Allison. I confess sometimes in all these eulogies, I don't really recognize myself. So, in fact, I don't even know that I have to say anything more than what's already been said. I do want to also repeat what Allison said. Ray Cabot's been here for 40 years and has had a remarkable career, and some of what I'm going to say in this address, even though it's not explicitly refers to Ray, has certainly been inspired by Ray. So thank you. This will actually be shorter than my introduction. Thank you, congratulations. And I also have to say that while my brothers and sisters, we might celebrate each other's victories, we very often celebrate each other's defeats. But anyway, thank you, congratulations, class of 2026. You will be graduated by noon tomorrow and drive off into your unbounded futures. I will be retired in 2 weeks and drive off into a far more bounded future. We both have reason to reflect fondly on our years at Petty. At April's J. Walter Reeves speaking contest, Freddie Melton spoke about family lessons, the lessons he learned from being the firstborn in a family of, if I remember correctly, 8 children. Thank you, Freddie, for providing the germ of my talk tonight. As the third child in a family of 6 children, I knew siblings came before and after me. Some were first and some were last. We might have all been special to our parents, but we were also nothing special. 4 of us belonged to the boomer generation, made up of approximately 70 million US babies born after World War II, a war that killed approximately 70 million people before the greatest generation ended it. My generation is neither the greatest nor the wisest. We can look 160 miles south of here and see that greatness and wisdom do not necessarily come with age. Too often, Too often, wisdom never arrives at all. We boomers inherited some challenges and are leaving a longer list of challenges for you. I often wish we had stepped aside sooner to let people with longer futures begin fixing our mess. Graduates, I hope you will do better. If I have one piece of advice, because contrary to what Allison said, I actually am going to give you a moral lesson. If I have one piece of advice to leave with you after 40 years of teaching, it is allow yourself to be humbled. That's a virtue lacking in much of the leadership in Washington and Silicon Valley and corporate America. Put another way, the universe has many lessons for us, but only if we are open to learning them. It's human nature to resist being humbled, and it's way easier to blame others, to look outside ourselves. We all do it. We all have humbling moments, but we don't always allow ourselves to be humbled. I know I don't. But here's the thing. If we don't acknowledge our shortcomings, we cannot become deeply knowledgeable. If we insist that we're already skilled, we will always be self-absorbed posers. And if we suppress the realization that we need to grow as human beings, our characters will remain forever stunted. Failing to see our own faults and weaknesses is called hubris, and it's toxic to people, organizations, and societies. Many of you graduates read about Oedipus and Odysseus in your humanities courses. If you recall, Oedipus insults Tiresias, and Odysseus taunts the Cyclops. As a result, both men bring needless suffering to their people. I have worked in self-satisfied communities challenged and paralyzed by hubris, but that hasn't been my experience of Petty. Petty is a great place to allow yourself to be humbled, not only because we are only a half mile from the New Jersey Turnpike, you can hear it now, where 200 million cars and trucks speed by annually, unaware that we're here, but also because Petty has etched humility into its collective soul. Our motto, "We finish our labors to begin them anew," grounds us as a community. We know there's no end to our labors. Petty's motto says we are imperfect and always a work in progress. Remember that. Being humble is something done to you. Allowing yourself to be humbled is something you do for yourself and for those around you. We often see both of these things in athletics. Last May at Hun, I watched Brody pitch a complete game. After the game, I overheard Hun students asking one of their players what happened and how did you lose? The fans felt the team had been humbled, but the Hun player responded with praise for Brody, saying he's really a good pitcher. In that moment, that player allowed himself to be humbled. When we witness Tessa break track records, Anna score goals, Gabe shoot baskets, we see athletic ability superior to our own. If we acknowledge and admire it, then we allow ourselves to be humbled, just like the Hun player, and that makes us better people. At other times, humility requires being honest with yourself and reaching out to others. 10 years ago, we started the MPS courses. Just a shout out to you guys, which included what to many was a new and uncomfortable approach to teaching. As with any change, it wasn't immediately popular. But the department chairs, Mr. Korka and Mr. Buckner, persevered because MPS was about more than teaching math. MPS asks you to recognize and admit mistakes, to make yourself vulnerable, and to work with others to solve problems. You weren't just learning math, you were building a classroom community. Now, Mr. Onion sometimes humbles us in chapel, like when he scolds us to get more sleep, or to pick up after ourselves, or say thank you, or plan for the grueling weeks ahead, or applaud. For me, Onion's scoldings are some of the most enjoyable chapels moments I ever have. We need these moments of being humbled. And then there are times when chapel breaks through whatever preoccupies us and allows ourselves to be humbled. A performance awes us, and we spontaneously cheer and applaud. A speaker moves us, and we sit silently listening without even the creaking of the pews. Neil's chapel talk, Hajaro's vocal performances, the musical performances by Jeannie, Coco, Aria, Josh, Jerry, Tevin, Rohit, Timur. In these moments, we get outside ourselves and applaud as a community. This doesn't happen every chapel, but it happens often enough to bring us together in spirit. And of course, Petty's dorms teach us quite a lot about humility. The experience of living with a roommate or a dorm full of smart, talented people helps you to see yourself as one of a pair and one among many. Sometimes that's irritating and often annoying, but there are those moments when it enlightens you, helps you understand, appreciate, confide in, and empathize with another human being. Because we are all unfinished, adults also benefit from allowing themselves to be humbled. Over my 25 years at Petty, my colleagues have made me a better teacher, administrator, and person. I listened to countless colleagues who had terrific ideas and the skills to implement them, and to colleagues who disagreed with initiatives and ideas I proposed. They offer thoughtful feedback and ideas and solutions much better than my own. The more I listen to them, the better the outcome for Petty, and the better the lessons for me. Teaching is inherently a humbling profession. Every now and then I receive a note from someone I taught 30 or 40 years ago. On the one hand, of course, I appreciate the thoughtfulness. On the other hand, I'm embarrassed when I think back to my much younger self's teaching skills. I suspect many of your teachers here tonight feel the same. But then I have seen so many teachers become brilliant instructors and mentors by allowing themselves to be humbled by their students and by their colleagues. That's how we develop virtues like patience, generosity, compassion, grace, and joy. If we can't understand that others may be right and we may be wrong, then we'll be unable to collaborate, especially on urgent problems. At Petty, my students have been my teachers. Your awesome talents, your freshness, your energy, your laughter have taught me to watch, listen, to be a better guide. I can't thank you enough for that. Before you leave Petty, and whenever you return, visit Annenberg Library and read Ambassador Annenberg's words extolling us to strive for the highest quality of citizenship. That's not about aspiring to greatness, but about recognizing our need for togetherness. Each of us is 1 in 8 billion people. In your long life ahead, allow yourself to be humbled. Don't fight it, welcome it, use it to learn and to grow and to join with others to solve many of the problems your generation faces. Genuine humility will enrich your life and deepen your friendships, and it will help you hand along to the next generation a better world. That is the definition of a happy life, and it is what I wish for all of you. Thank you, graduates, colleagues, families, for 25 very happy years at Petty.
Thank you, Ms. Rodrigue, and thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Speaking as the school historian, what a glorious tradition it is to have this service, to pause and reflect as a group before we all go on our ways, yet to come back later after graduation commencement. The Cum Laude Society has the objective of promoting learning and sound scholarship in secondary schools. It was founded in 1906 as the secondary school equivalent to Phi Beta Kappa, the college-level honor society. Petty's chapter was founded in 1921, and we were the 14th school to adopt election during the senior year on the basis of an honors record. Election was held this spring, and this group was inducted earlier this week at Prize Day. The motto of the Cum Laude Society is Arete Dike Time, which is Greek for excellence, justice, and honor. I now ask the newly elected members of Cum Laude to stand. Don't be shy. Okay, thank you. Please remain standing while I read your names. I ask the audience to withhold the next round of applause till we're finished. Brody Buckner, Olivia Campbell, Isabella Chen, Luke Chan, Sanvi Gudapati, Neil Kathuria, Jacob Kidd, Arav Kumar, Aidan Lawrence, Jaden Lee, Josh Lee, Claire Lynn, Iris Lynn, Elaine Liu, Jerry Liu, Alvin Law, Ashwin Narayan, Neil Patel, Sophia Pei, Poet Sofransiri, Enrique Rosman Suarez, Sophie Wynn, Albert Yang, Mark Zhao, Coco Zhao, and Tevin Zhou. Congratulations to you.
Greetings and congratulations to you all. Parents, my name is Alan Michaels. I serve as chair of the Arts Department. At this time, we will be presenting departmental awards in alphabetical order, beginning with the arts. Students, if your name is selected as a prize winner, please come up to receive your award, and then make sure you stop to have a photograph taken by Sean. Thank you. The Arts Department prize is awarded by vote of the arts faculty to a senior who has made the strongest impact across multiple areas of the arts. This year's recipient has contributed to nearly every Petty theater production and visual arts exhibition over the past 4 years. He has performed on stage in musicals and honors theater, worked behind the scenes in set construction, run sound in the tech booth, completed an art signature project in stop motion, and explored advanced conceptual work in honors studio art. What distinguishes this student is not simply the breadth of involvement, but the spirit with which he approaches creative work. Curious, hardworking, and deeply engaged in the artistic process, he asks thoughtful questions that lead to discovery, refinement, and new possibilities. His commitment to both excellence and process is evident in everything he does. Whenever a proper poster is needed, he is often the first to volunteer. Whether helping install artwork in the gallery, assisting with visiting artists, or offering thoughtful critiques, he consistently elevates the work of those around him. He also leads with calm, confidence, and enthusiasm towards those he mentors and trains. Please join me in congratulating this year's Arts Department Prize winner, the creative and industrious Liam Ruiz.
On behalf of athletics, the John J. Wynant Class of 1941 Cups are awarded to 2 students in either the junior or senior class who have qualified by earning at least 2 varsity letters during the school year and who, in the judgment of a committee of the faculty, excel in scholarship and athletic ability. The first Wynant recipient is praised by her coaches for her athletic prowess and exceptional work ethic. Quote, "She works tirelessly on the field and in the weight room to excel in strength, speed, and skill training. This student athlete sets the standard of what it takes to maximize one's athletic ability. She continually challenges herself to achieve ambitious athletic goals, and then she sets new ones. Over a 4-year field hockey career, she tallied a total of 59 goals and 18 assists. On the lacrosse field, she amassed 223 goals and 74 assists. She was a multi-year captain on both teams, and she was recognized in both all Maple and all Prep formats. Equally impressive, according to one of her coaches, quote, "Anna Treese couples her passion for athletic achievement with her compassion for her teammates. Through her competitive spirit, she motivates and inspires any team of which she is a part." Please join me in congratulating the first of our 2 Wynant Award recipients, Anna Treese. According to his soccer coach, the second Wynant Award recipient is, quote, "a leader in both word and deed." He models a relentless work ethic and uses his interpersonal skills to encourage his teammates to stride toward their best selves. One of his teachers wrote, quote, "I am not surprised that many of the assets this student brings to the athletic arena are also evident in the classroom. Hard work, preparedness, the ability to lead his peers, willingness to take on risk, and so on." On the pitch, he stubbornly anchored the soccer team's defensive back row, and in lacrosse, he scored an impressive 185 goals and 86 assists over a 4-year career. In both sports, he was gritty, tenacious, and rarely left the field. Perhaps this is why he captained both programs for 2 years apiece. One coach commented, "He always seems to have the right word and emotion to meet the moment," and another coach called him a courageous and unyielding leader. Please join me in congratulating our second Winan Award winner, John Giblin.
The Fred Rager Class of 1944 Prize for Excellence in English is the department's highest prize and is awarded to that senior whose work has been especially marked by sophistication, clarity, and vigor. This student is an incredibly talented English scholar, whether that's in the classroom, in their analytical work, or as a member of the creative writing signature program. And so it would be logical to think that because of these talents, this student would draw a lot of attention to themselves. But what's remarkable about this student is that they use those talents, and from the very first day that they've been here, actually, as you've already heard, they turn them outward, and they pay attention to and consider and support others, whether that's their classmates in the English classroom or their creative writing workshops, or whether it's the characters in the text that they read, or the stories that they write. And this is probably why this student is such a strong English scholar, because it's those qualities more than any other, consideration, attention, compassion, empathy, humility, that mark those who achieve at the highest level of this discipline. The Fred Rager Class of 1944 Prize for Excellence in English is awarded to Luke Chang.
On behalf of the Language Department, I'm going to present the Language Department Award. The Language Department Award is given each year to a student who has successfully achieved higher levels in one or more languages taught at Petty. It is my pleasure to present this year's Language Department Prize to a senior whose love of languages and interest in learning about other cultures have made him stand out during his time at Petty. Over the past 4 years, he challenged himself by studying both Chinese and Spanish and reached a high level in both through hard work, dedication, and persistence. His interest in the world went far beyond the classroom. During his sophomore year, he joined Petty trip to China and participated in our Asian Studies signature program. There, he developed a strong interest in Eastern medicine and completed an excellent research project comparing traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine. His work saw not only curiosity and strong academic skills, but also an impressive ability to connect language learning with history, philosophy, and science. So the Language Department Award is pleased to award this prize to Fred Sullivan.
It'll be much shorter this time, I swear. The Dr. William H. Marable Award is awarded to that student whose work in the field of history has been of unusually high quality, as well as showing some degree of originality. The student should have demonstrated those qualities of clarity of thought and integrity of purpose that characterized the late Dr. Marabo's distinguished teaching career here at Petty. This is the History Department's highest award. This year's recipient was consistently exceptional in all their work in the History Department over the last 4 years. They showed up every single day and did extraordinary work with sophistication, humility, and a sense of humor, making the classroom better for his peers. His modern global teacher, Ms. Summers, remarked that honestly, he probably could have taught the class himself. Mr. Treese, his AP US History and AP Art History teacher, notes that this student has a fierce intellect and is always willing to dive into hard discussions and express differing viewpoints. This year's Dr. William H. Marable Award goes to Luke Chon.
Good evening. The Hornberger Prize in Mathematics is awarded to that student who, in the judgment of the faculty of the Mathematics Department, has done the most outstanding work within the department over the course of their career at Petty. The winner is chosen for their true enjoyment of the subject, generosity of spirit, contribution to the classroom experience, leadership, and success as demonstrated both inside and outside the classroom. It is the highest prize awarded by the department. This year's recipient is a student of rare mathematical insight and immense future potential. From his arrival at Petty, he stood out for his brilliant analytical prowess, quickly commanding the respect of peers and faculty alike for his ability to rapidly justify and prove complex results. Quite commonly in class, a student might ponder over a hypothetical, wondering if a certain result was true. A few minutes later, we'd have the answer. Beyond the classroom, this year's winner achieved top marks in competitions like the AMC, AME, USA Computing Olympiad, as well as Cyber Patriots, just to name a few. Yet despite this, he always maintained a quiet, unassuming modesty, letting his remarkable work speak for itself. He balanced these mathematical achievements with other pursuits in the Petty community, including his time on varsity crew and as a valued clarinet player in the orchestra. As a leader within the Math Fellows and Math Club, he brought a calm, welcoming presence to our community, working with a core group of peers to help Petty students improve their math skills, attend contests, and organize math games for the student body. Over time, his academic focus naturally shifted from competitions to sophisticated research. By seamlessly blending his strengths in mathematics and computer science, he has pursued projects of personal significance, showcasing the problem-solving skills that will undoubtedly serve him well at Stanford and beyond. We are proud to present the Hornberger Prize in Mathematics to Jerry Liu.
Last one. The Science Prize is presented to that graduating senior who, in the judgment of the Science Department faculty, combines to the greatest degree the following attributes: outstanding achievement in science courses taken at Petty, insight into the ideas and concepts of science, excellent laboratory skills, and a genuine interest and enthusiasm for the sciences. This year's recipient has taken and excelled in 7 full-year science courses during her time at Petty. Since this was not enough science to sustain her, she also participated in the STEM EXP program and served as an active leader of our environmental club, PEST. As a classmate, Iris was eager to share her understanding of the world around her, always bringing great curiosity and a joy for learning. Iris's desire to understand and appreciate science was not limited to the classroom experience. She single-handedly ran the Petty Lake water testing we do for the Water Institute for the last 2 years, understanding the importance of collecting this data for the health of our local water systems. Her STEM EXP project through UPenn allowed her to further study water quality in watersheds with Dr. Hawkins as she helped gather baseline data for nutrient monitoring in the Cobbs Creek watershed. For her outstanding achievement in all her science courses and for her passion for all things science, this year's recipient of the Science Prize is Iris Lynn.
I have come to put us all to task. We have arrived at the moment of full audience participation. If you have your program in hand, you will find on the back cover the lyrics to the alma mater. We will all sing, but I will back away from the microphone in doing so. But in preparation for the moment, I ask that we all rise. This weekend is an extended gesture acknowledging our blessing, the blessing of the young people who stand before us and who we so heartwarmingly applaud for. But also wrapped in that blessing is the sense of duty, that we will go forward and be a blessing for and with others. Embrace that duty. It will be all of our tomorrows. Amen. Go in peace.